Okay, this is lesson 79, finding equivalent fractions by multiplying by 1. So remember that equivalent fractions are different names for the same number. So let's say this is a candy bar. The green part is a half. The green part is still a half. The green part is still a half. However, we put some more cuts in these two candy bars. So really, those two pieces are 2/4, but it's still a half a candy bar, right? And then those are 3 out of 6. So it's still a half a candy bar, it just has more cuts. That's equivalent fractions. So as we're using 1 to change from 1/2 to 2/4 to 3/6, I want you to think about this. Write down your fraction, your original fraction, and I want you to do times line equals line. So say that to yourself, times line equals line. Kind of catchy, right? So we're going to change 1/2 into 3/6. So I'm going to write my fraction, times line equals line. I know I'm going to change it to 3/6, right? Because I just said I was going to do that. So I want to multiply. I'm going to put a little box around this so we know it's going to be 1. 1 times something equals 3. 3, right? 2 times something equals 6. Oops, 3. That's a terrible 3. So 3/3 is the same thing as 1, isn't it? Cool. Okay, so let's practice a little bit. Example 1 says, what name for 1 should 3/4 be multiplied by to make 6/8? So it's going to be 6/6 or 9/9 or 100/100, but we don't know. All right, so I write my 3/4, my original fraction, times line equals line. And they gave me that fraction, so I just wrote it down. So 3 times what is 6? 2. Does 4 times 2 equal 8? Yes. So I see that 3 times 2 equals 6, 4 times 2 equals 8. So the name of 1 that I use is 2/2. Same thing. Example 2 says, write a fraction equal to 2/3, there's my original fraction, that has a denominator, remember that's the one on the bottom, of 12. So I don't have quite as much information here. Let's draw a little box around this so I know those numbers are going to be the same thing. 3 times what is 12? 4. So I'm going to do the same thing. 2 times 4 is 8. So I know that 2/3 and 8/12 are the same amount. This one has more cuts in it, right? Okay, let's do example 3. Write a fraction equal to 1/3 that has a denominator of 12. Okay, so there's more to it. We're gonna start there. 1/3 times line equals line. Okay, we know that our new fraction is gonna have a denominator of 12 because they told me so. So 3 times what is 12? 4. I'm going to do the same thing. 1 times 4 is 4. So I know that 1/3 and 4/12 are the same thing. They're equivalent fractions. Okay, so let's move on. Then write a fraction equal to 1/4 that has a denominator of 12. So write my fraction, times line equals line. New denominator. 4 times what is 12? 3. Now I do 1 times 3. Okay, so we know that 3/12 and 1/4 are the same thing. And what's the sum of the two fractions I made? So 4/12 plus 3/12 equals, and remember when you're adding fractions, you don't add the denominator. So 4 plus 3 is 7. So if I add 1/3 and 1/4, I'm going to get 7/12. But I have to change them into the same denominator or like fractions first before I can add them, right? Okay, example 4, write 3/4 as a fraction with the denominator of 100. Okay, so wrote my fraction 3/4 times line equals line. My new denominator is 100. So 4 times what is 100? Kind of like 4/4 in a dollar, right? So 25. Do the same thing here. 3 times 25 is 75. So my equivalent fraction is 75 over 100. And then they go on to say, write that fraction as a percent. So remember, percent means out of 100. So those two little zeros right there in the 100, they're going to go on my percent sign, just like that. And I'm going to take my numerator, and it's 75%. 75 out of 100, 75 out of 100, or percent. Easy peasy. Okay, so remember your times line, equals line. Remember that you're making 1, so whatever you're multiplying by has to be the same numerator and denominator, okay? Anytime you multiply anything times 1, it's the same thing. It just looks a little different when you're working with fractions. Okay, good luck with this.